Okay. So actually everybody on here knows me but Kathy. So Kathy, hi. I'm sure there'll be other people who watch this call afterwards. So just super quick, my name is Kara Jones. I have been with Pampered Chef just over 9 years. I have become kind of everybody's little techie friend, which I never would have named myself that way. So, you know, hey, that's how that goes. So I have been asked a number of times to do this, and something that was said at conference was to work your business 80% and help everybody else for 20%. So I kind of decided to jump in with that and do this call so people can watch it after the fact, and I wouldn't have to be one-on-one helping people all the time, because I was doing quite the opposite of that. I was doing 80% everybody else, and oh yeah, I should probably work on bookings myself also. So that's why we're doing this call. So I do not know absolutely everything about Canva, although I have been on it for quite some time. So I'm going to show you the basics, and I'm not in any hurry tonight. There's no deadline on my part, so I can just stay on here and answer questions as long as people have them. And I'm assuming a bunch more people will pop on here within a few minutes, because I have this advertised in 3 or 4 big groups and had a good bit of response. So hopefully they'll join us here shortly. So I'm going to share my screen, and I just wanted to start with the basics. A show of hands, who is using Canva so far?
Tried.
Mary is. Carlotta said she's tried. Kathy, hold on, let me scroll to you. Kathy?
No.
No? Okay. Sharon, do you use it a little bit? Okay.
I have it on my computer and have not used it.
Okay, so Canva is actually a very simple program. Let me show you what this does from the beginning. So when you're on the main page, I'm just going to go back to the home on here. There's a ton of templates. So if you look right below this thing that says design anything, you can try to search for whatever you want to do, or right below here it says create a design. And if you look, it has, these are templates that are done for all the different social media aspects that are out there. So it has Facebook covers, Facebook event covers, Facebook posts, social media. If you keep going, it'll have Instagram, it'll have a bunch of other things. So those are very basic in there. One thing that I do like is, for us, because we use our products a lot in the pictures, once you create a couple of things, you kind of already have a template to go with, and then you can keep changing from there. So that is pretty cool. You don't have to always go search for, you know, the right type of social media thing, because you'll recognize it by what you've already done. And then it'll have all of your designs on here as well. You can also click on all your designs and see them alone away from everything else. So this is a banner, this Freezer Meal Workshop with the white background. This is a banner that goes across like a whole Facebook page. The smaller one here is actually one that would just be inside an event or a group. So it'd be the cover page picture for your group. And then these are small individual posts. These perfectly square ones, close to perfectly square ones, are just regular posts. Now these are ones that I use for invites for hosts to send out, because they can send this. It's a PNG file, which is a portable, I should know this, network graphic, I think is what that stands for. But anyway, it's what everybody's doing them in. It used to be JPEGs and all those other things. Now it's a PNG file. So this is something that they can text, email, PM, yeah, so anything they want to, any type of way you want to send it out. It's an intact picture. And what I love about this versus trying to create your own somewhere else is when you post it, you get the whole thing. You don't get just bits and pieces. You get the whole picture. There's not words that are cut off. So I like and appreciate that, because there's nothing worse than spending time creating something and you post it, half of it's cut off, and you got to start over again because the words don't quite match up the way they want to. These larger sizes here are for Squee. Is anybody on Squee? I know Sharon is. No, not. Aren't you on, Sharon? Aren't you on there? Okay, you're muted. What are you about to say?
No, I've done some SenseShare in the past.
Okay.
I need to understand Squee.
Okay. Well, I won't go into explaining that.
Squee.
That's a whole nother ball game. But it has its own specific size, and you can then customize your size and put that in here as well. And so then I have a template on that, so any of those sizes are for that. And I can show you just by looking on here. I won't go into detail, but I have gone through and I've put like our new kits on a Squee frame. This is what you guys saw for inviting you to tonight. This is one that says, what's your why? And there's a bunch of different other ones, and then it goes into like our products as well. So that's what I've done with that. And some of those I will interchange and use on a Facebook virtual party. So let me just show you.
Kara, can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does it tell us in Canva that that is the size for a squee, or do we just
I researched it on the squee. There's a Facebook page for Pampered Chef squeeders, and I looked on there and finally found that it was 1,600 by 1,000, and that's how you do that. And then you get, once you have one, then you're good to go.
okay.
So when you go into creating a design, I'll just show you guys real quick. You can do custom dimensions. And when you click on that, then you can put in your 1,600 by 1,000 and it'll come up with a blank one that'll allow you to go with that. So if you know you've got another specific design you need for a yearbook ad or something like that, you can put that in here too. Or you can create like a business card. I think there's a business card template in there, but for example, you could go and put that in there and then that'll give you what you need for that. All right, so once you have some on here, you can then, if you know the right size and you're going to just do something else, you can do one of two things. You can still go find another template, or you can click on one. It brings it up like this, and you can do edit or use this template. The other thing I want to show you is if these three dots, when you point at the corner, pop up, and that allows you to just make a copy or download. So there's easier ways than having to pull the whole thing up. Sometimes you might have to see you've got the right one or the right details. I get that. But so you can make a copy or you can go from there. So I want to make a copy. And what that does too is that does not open it up to make a copy. So if you don't, so remind me and I will tell you about sharing these so people can use them in a minute, and that'll come into that play. So if I just want to make a copy and send a copy to somebody, that's what I would do. But if I want to edit and use it, then I'm going to go ahead and open it. And now I'll edit the copy. Okay. So if that was confusing, I apologize, but there's two ways to get in to edit it. You do have to be careful with that. And the reason I showed both ways is because if you pick one up and you start editing it, it does not save your previous one. Other things, you know, like in Microsoft Office or other programs, until you click on save, you have your original intact. This is quite the opposite. As soon as you make a change, it saves its changes for you, and you don't have that original anymore. So that's why you need to make sure you've got a copy before you start playing. So if it's something you won't ever use again, you're good. But if it's something that you have out there still, so Amanda's party is actually coming up on the 16th, so I don't want to change hers. I want to make sure she's got a copy. So here's the other way that you can check that. When you open it up, it says up here at the top, copy of whichever one you're working on. And I leave that up there until I'm done because that reminds me that I'm working on the copy and not the original. That's just a brain trick for me, okay? So what I'm actually going to do is hers is done. So I am going to actually edit this for another one that I have coming up on the 24th. So when you click on the boxes, they'll show up as text boxes. You just click once and I can move it around if I want to. I can also undo the last move if I want it lined back up because I didn't mean to click it or I changed my mind. And I click on it one more time and I'll get a blinking cursor. Sometimes depending on the color of your background or the type of text, it's hard to see. But for the most part, if you click twice, you're going to get your blinker. Okay, so on this, I'm going to do, you can also double click on a word and then just change it for that word. You don't have to change the whole thing or highlight the whole thing or backspace a ton of times. Okay, so there's a way to do that. So I'm going to click on Friday. It's actually going to be Saturday. She's the 24th and she's at 10 a.m. So as you can see, as I'm adding this, if I wanted to do 10.00, I would have to shrink that to get it to fit, but I can just do the 10 a.m. and it'll be good. So then, of course, the rest of this is going to pretty much stay the same, except her code is going to change. This is a squee thing, you guys, so I realize you're not on there. There's a code on each one. And so you just change it to match the code. I'm not going to explain that. We'll talk about squee another time, so ignore that factor. But I wanted to show you the rest on how to edit this. If you decide you don't like the font, you highlight whatever font you want to change, and then you come up here. See where it says Playfair Display? That's actually your font name, and they're totally different font names than like any other program. There is not your common basics for the most part. I think they do have a Times New Roman in here and a couple of basic, but if you could look at the name, you can see like League, Spartan, Abro, Fat Face. I mean, all these are different ones that you would not normally see. I think the Fat Face one is kind of funny. Hopefully there's nobody named Abro out there anywhere who they're making fun of. And you can scroll through here and pick out different fonts for whatever you happen to want. And there's a ton of them. We're only in the A's right now. That also is how you would change the font size. And then you can also change the color. So let's say I decide I want this whole Christie block, instead of being black, I want it to be a dark blue. So when I click on that, come on, the colors pop up over here to your left. Now these are the basic default colors that come with it as a free version. I am one of those people, I won't pay for something unless I absolutely have to, and I'd rather stick to the free. However, on here, if you want to change it, like that's not quite the blue that you want, so you have to, I clicked on it, they're now blue. I get a click off of it to see that's not quite bright enough, right? So let's say I want to go just a little bit darker, it can be almost like a black, but not quite that dark. Click on the plus sign. When you do, you get this whole gamut. You can change the bar down here to any of those different things. And then you get into your blues, so then you pick something darker. So there's a much darker blue than that one. And then you can, there also is a code that comes with that. You can save that code. That's way past me. I'm gonna click until I find it and I'm good. So then you click off of it to see if that was dark enough. See, that's brighter, that's a whole lot darker. It's still blue. I think it looks really good. And then you can keep playing with it and do things like that.
Does it charge you to do that?
Pardon me?
You said that some of them are free, or is that free too?
This is free also. You just don't see it as a list of colors. You have to go into that plus sign and play with it.
Okay.
Okay.
But if you're going to be paying for something, it's going to tell you that before you do, right?
Is, you actually can create palettes and save them in the free, in the paid version. So not in this one though. I mean, it saves the color in your design, so it'll always be that color until you change it. But it's not going to be something you can go pick that up. But what you can do then too, so let's say that you do like that color, you click on it again, you can sit there and see that the code is up here. So if you do want to jot that down because you're going to do a series of these, you can do that if you want to. That's just what that is. So, all right, so now let's just say we decided we want to keep it black after all. We don't like that. Again, there's the undo, and you can undo it a good bit of steps back. So I've got it back to the black. So let's say you decide you want to do this for fall colors. You click on the blue background, and then the same thing, you click on that blue square, and it gives you a bunch of different colors. And you can kind of click on it and play with it and see which ones you like. Some of the darker ones are harder to see your words. Like obviously you can't see the code in there, but there's lots of different ones you can play with and get to that. You can also change your background. So let's say this is going to be a pool party, okay? So we're not going to leave that on blue. We're going to make that like a light gray, and then we're going to go play with the background and find a pool party. So if you want to do that, let's go to backgrounds, background. You can find all different kinds. So there's the one I picked. There's all the different ones. There's here's with water in the background, so you could put that. Obviously, you're going to have to change that, and that's a clip art logo, so you're not going to be able to see that if that works. So you're either going to have to put the Pampered Chef up in there somewhere or find a different one. But if it was a pool party, that would be kind of fun to do. You can also change how transparent this box is. If you see right here, this transparency thing, it comes up with a meter. If you want it to be totally blocking, there you go. If you want it to be a little bit less, a little bit more, so you can make that almost go away. Just as a hint of a color, and you can see the water through it. So there's lots of fun to play with that. The only thing that I will recommend to you guys, you will see by my designs, and it's a personal preference from a marketing background, so do what you want with that, is don't make your background so busy it's taking away from what you're trying to focus on. If I were to put something like those on there, and that may not be bad, but it also might be overwhelming. And there's ones that can be a whole lot worse. Imagine if that was in like a bright red and how hard that would be to see things. There's some of these ones that are like, that is more busy than I would want on something that I was doing. Now it's kind of cute because it's pieces of lemons, maybe I can see that, but yeah. So just kind of watch with your backgrounds that you're not competing with what you're doing. So me, those lines are busy, and I would not want something with as much text on it as this for that type of background. So if I were to have all of that off, and I were just going to do a picture on here, let me show you guys what I'm talking about. And I'm just highlighting and deleting these. I'm probably making you all panic because I'm taking them all off. If I were just to do a real simple line and then into a picture, and I'll show you how to do pictures in a second, so don't panic on that. See, that's kind of fun with that background. That kind of plays off of it, and there's not so much busy that you're not focusing on the dish. It actually brings the dish in and brings it up to focus. So keep that in mind when you're doing your layouts. Okay, so how did I get these pictures in here? So that's actually a picture that I took of spaghetti linguine and put it on here, so that's cool. But the other ones are, you're seeing over here to the left, you can see some of the Pampered Chef pictures. So you can click on upload, and then you click on upload an image, and then it'll take you to whatever file folder you have on your computer. Now I keep all of mine under download, because download on a Microsoft or an Office computer tends to download everything to there, and then I create folders inside that. So inside that I've got a fall 2019 folder and my host and guest specials. Windows just updated, so forgive me for resetting some of these, but I keep it on large icons for my view, because then I can see these without having to try to figure out the list. And I just keep it as a small window, and then I can scroll through and grab what I want. And that's also the same thing with fall of 2019. I will spend a few minutes every season and just click on marketing imagery and download everything. Now, the reason I have all these individual images is another thing with Squee, so you can ignore that factor. We have a little product library, and everything is in that product library, and I created the library with the new products, so that's why those are there. But you also have, like, the charcuterie set is right there, and the picture of the blender, and the picture of the Christmas set, and different things like that. So, and a new picture of the kids' apron set, because the hat's not included anymore. So there's certain things like that that I'm going to upgrade and update. Okay. So you just pull your picture out of whatever folder it's in. Once you do that, so let's just pick one to do. Let's just pick the blender mixes up here, the soup and things like that. The little blue bar goes until it's in. It also looks like it's swimming in water till it's done. And then it finishes, and there you go. So if I decided I want that picture in here instead, I can click on it, get rid of the other one. See, this has still got some green with the apple and all that in it. I can then place this where I want and move my text around it or shrink it, etc., and get it to fit however. Okay. So that's been a bunch. Let me pause here. Any questions of what we've done so far? I know it's a lot. That's why we're recording this, because you guys can go back and watch it multiple times if you need to. Anybody have any questions this far? Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and undo and see how far we can go with the undoing, and see if I get back to that one. I want to show you how to group some texts. See if it'll let me go all the way back. Look at that. I actually kind of like the green background. If it wasn't so busy and so much text, I would kind of stick with that. All right, so let me go all the way back, which is pretty cool. Some things only let you like reverse 2 or 3 things that you've done. This one gives you a good bit of playtime. So I do like that. Okay, so this is done for that, but I wanted to show you one other thing. When you pick a template on here, it comes with a group, and you can ungroup it. So right now, if I want to, let's just say I want to move majority of this text around, and I want to try to do it all at one time. If I highlight and clicked and dragged with my controller, all of those are highlighted together, and I can click on group. So what that does now is it allows me to move that whole section that I grabbed, and I can move at one time. Now you see it did not grab those bottom 2 lines. So you can undo it and then redo it if you want to get all of that. But what's nice about that is if you've got, let me see if I can show you one to give you an idea. There's a thing we do on, there we go. This was the recruiting sign-up special that we did, that I put together for last month with the double burner grill pan. So I have this picture here, and it has a star. It's a separate thing. You can see how its own little entity, the wording, and the circle itself in this. So if I want those to all move around, see how it moves just one piece at a time? It's hard to get things lined up sometimes, and that can be an absolute pain. So what you do is you click and drag over all of those, see how they all highlight now, and I group it, and then I can now move this. So if I wanted to put the wording at the bottom and decided to put that at the top, then I can do that easily without having to go into moving each individual piece. When I'm done, if I want to change that again, I can either ungroup or I can still just click off and click on any one thing in there. Let's suppose I spelled interest wrong, I could fix that. So there's an easy way to move and do all of that. Okay, so that's grouping and ungrouping, and then you can change your colors. We talked about that. You can change your formats by going through those. Now, if you have a brand new, so let's say I want to do something totally from scratch. I want this size because I'm doing it for this particular format, and I've got the background. So let's say I want to pick a template that they already have. Then you can just go up to photos or templates. There's templates, and you can pick and keep their background. Definitely can go through that, and those allow you to just manipulate and do whatever you want with their little text box that they have. You can also insert their photos. So I just did a back to school freezer meal workshop, and we picked books, and we did books on the right hand side, and then I faded the books so they weren't so bright, so the text that went over them was more readable. So that was an easy thing to do. So I just looked for some books, and you can search by that. If you want to do something for pizza, you can sit there and put that in, and it pulls up a bunch of pictures with pizza. There's so many ways to work through this. You don't have to worry about having all these photos yourself. They've got gorgeous photography on most of this. I mean, that one right there is a little on the cheesy side, but you know, okay. No pun intended with pizza. But also what you can look on these, if you look in the corner, it says free. If there's a crown, that's a pro version. So in this instance, okay, I really don't like that one. I'm not going to pay for it anyway. But then there's other ones you can see that are totally free. And sometimes they're pretty close to what we would do for our photography too. So let me see if I can show you one. Okay, like this one right here, that's free. You see how the background and all that is pretty close to what a lot of our marketing imagery photography is. You could take that and increase it and then play with the sizing on it and then put a word in the middle of it. So let's just say we're going to do a pizza bar, okay? Now granted we don't have those spoons, but that's okay. Then you want to add text to that. And you want to put something right smack in the middle of that. You can pick by some of these ones they have over here that shows different fonts and how that looks. Or you can also just pick a heading, a subheading, or just regular text and change your font. So one of the fun ones that I enjoy is one that's called Lemon Tuesday. Don't have any clue as to why they have it called that, but let's just say we want to go with that. So I'm going to highlight my whole thing. I'm going to click over here to get the fonts, and then I know that's what it's called. So I'm going to just start typing it in. It should pop up, theoretically. There it goes. Ooh, I got a thunderstorm brewing outside. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. Oh, you're going to hear my dog whining at the door here soon. He's 13 and does not like storms. I just think that's a fun font. So let's just say they put the Rock Crock Pizza Stone on special and you wanted to highlight that. So you put your pizza night on there. Then you would go to your pictures of our pizza stone, which I probably don't have in here right now because I haven't done anything with that one lately. Let's just pretend this is a pizza. It's not, but just pretend. Then you bring your picture in and you can shrink it and then get some words. You can also edit them and bring things in if you don't want all the background around it, which is kind of cool. And then you can put details below it. So pretend that was a pizza stone. Makes sense? Nod your heads. Still with me? I didn't lose anybody? Okay. Alrighty. That's a good bit of what I have on my list. I do want to talk about sharing these in a second, but I want to give another chance for anybody who has, what is something that you want to do and I can build it for you? Most of you are on mute, so you'll have to take yourself off to ask, but what is something that, while you're interested in Canva, what is something you're looking at doing?
So, Kara, one thing that I was thinking about is one for September for fundraising for teachers.
Okay.
You know, to do something, you know, I'll give a portion of my commission to get gift cards for them at a school supply store.
Okay. So is this something you're going to put a post on Facebook?
Yes.
To get something on that? Okay, so let me get out of this. So this square size is Facebook post size. I'm going to just make a copy of this one. So this could be something you could do with these books because it's a back to school. I'll show you some other pictures that pop up. This is what I did for that freezer meal workshop. So see how I faded those books? I did that whole progression thing so you could see that they were there. And I also found a ruler. I thought that was so cute to sit there and put underneath the header. So you could also do like school supplies and see what pops up. So there's back to school. There's all kinds of different little things on there. Then it gets into more like collegiate looking ones. So then you can play with that. It's a great one for school supplies. And this is a template that they have. So you could sit there and see that took my words and switched it into that. But you could play with that. Is that one even a free one? That may not have been a free one because it's got Canva written around behind the background. But anyway, so you could take something like that. Let's go back to my books. All right, so you could then bring in the fundraiser grid. I actually have that somewhere. I might have that in here. Oops, hold on. Uploads. I took a picture, I scanned a picture of the fundraiser grid so that I could send that to people to show them what they make on a fundraiser. Because it's easier than trying to remember the numbers or explain it because people will ask that question 1,000 times over again. If you've done fundraisers, you know what I'm talking about. It's probably pretty deep.
Right.
But if I can't find it, it's easy enough to scan and put in here.
Sure. That's fine. Thanks.
Yeah. So, so let's just say you have some text of some sort and you can put that information in there. So let's just pretend that's it. So you could shrink that. That's the recruiting and promoting stuff that we've got going right now. You could have your fundraising stuff in there to one side. You could have your books, and then you could sit there and go from there. The bulleted items, if you don't want it bulleted, when you're in here, you highlight it and then get rid of the bullets. Change it to numbers. Just make it a paragraph. You can center it. You can emphasize whichever you want to, like only one day. You can italicize that or make it bold. So it's most of it is pretty simple on the editing aspect of things. Do you ever use like Publisher or anything along those lines? PowerPoint?
Yes, I've used PowerPoint Publisher, yes. So
okay, so once you get in here and you have your layout and you have the idea of what picture you want to work with, I really pick my pictures first and then kind of work with my text afterwards, because then I'm working more with an idea versus trying to find a picture to then fit in after I've got my text here. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Because then you can edit more than like you have the perfect text and you can't figure out what picture to fit with it. Sometimes that limits what you're looking at. So
okay.
I would probably do something looking like their school supplies or whatever they would be fundraising for. If it's for a team, you could probably find the team logo on their page and upload it and put the team logo here. If you're doing like a volleyball or a softball fundraiser or something like that, or even just the school. My son was the Spartans. You could get a Spartan head. I know I have one of those buried in here because I did that, but something with the team, the school name or something like that would work that way too. Almost everything is grabbable off the internet now. You just right click on their page and grab their picture and take it.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
What you can't do with this is you can't copy and paste in here well. It's kind of clunky as far as pictures. Like if you went to the internet and grabbed a picture and pasted it, it doesn't quite work. It does sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the source file. So I always try to save it somewhere and then bring it in. And that gives me a little bit more control.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else?
So how do you get the Pampered Chef logo? That's just from imagery as well?
It is. That was just something I pulled off of the Pampered Chef site. I think I actually even, trying to remember how I grabbed that one.
Kara, Carlotta just posted, I went into Canva as part of Scent Share and could not even begin to figure it out. So should I just go to Canva instead? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know anything about Scent Share. So unfortunately, I'm not your best help on that. I'm not sure how they put things in there at all in that respect.
I've heard other people say that, Carlotta, that it's really complicated to figure it out until you really know how to do Canva, that you can't go in and do as much stuff as you want to do.
I mean, is it as easy as Scent Share? Is that what you're saying?
They're saying that
Carlotta,
people told me it was more complicated than plain Scent Share.
All right,
that you have to know what you're doing.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I did. You were muted.
Okay, so no, I'm not using Scent Share as much anymore. I'm still sort of using it, but I have not, I never was in jail, and I haven't been in jail since I quit not using it as much. So what I'm saying to you is, it would be better for me just to go to Canva and sign up for Canva that way. Just regularly, like go to their page and sign up, right?
Well, Canva is not a posting program. This is just
No, I know that. No, I know it's not a posting program. I just need to know, how do I get to Canva?
Canva is free. You just go to canva.com.
That's what I need to know.
Yeah, it's just CANVA, canva.com.
Okay.
And it's free, and you can just start making stuff, and then you just download it to yourself. I'll show you guys how to download. I guess I haven't showed you that yet.
Okay.
And then you just save it wherever you want it to be, and then you go from there and use it wherever posting. If you're not going to use SenseShare, you could go into your Facebook group and schedule a post and pull this image in there, and you're done.
Oh, okay.
So one of the things that I like about this, let me go back. Anyway, as far as that Pampered Chef logo, I think I'd either pulled it out of marketing and imagery, or it was up on a page somewhere and I grabbed it that way. But there are, when you go into marketing imagery, they've got it organized a little bit better now. And they've actually got a section for logos. I can't see the bottom of this. Hold on. Am I seeing it? I think it's this right here.
This is
Branding.
brand. It had branding on the bottom right.
Yeah.
Sarah, back on your left.
All your all's pictures were in front of those words, so I couldn't see it. And you can just grab different ones in here and pull that in as well. So either way, and the one somewhere they had this without the independent consultant on it, and I grabbed it and kept it that way. I like it because I can make it, I can make this itself opaque or transparent as well. Like you can sit there and play with it. I like that it had the clear background. So.
So when you say you grabbed it, Kara, do you mean you just copy pasted, or?
Yeah, you just point at it and then you right click and get copy or save image, and then take it from there and then paste it wherever you're going to put it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let me go back to the one there. So that was the one that's finished for her. Somehow I need to ungroup this so I can make sure I get all of my groups, all my stuff in here. This one here, ungroup. I may not be able to undo past that. There it goes. I didn't want to lose the wording in the background there. So now that I'm done and this one is ready to go, I have everything fixed on here that I need to. I click up in here and change the whole thing to what I want it to say. Hit enter, and that kind of forces a save. And then you click on this down here, this little arrow with the line underneath it, and that is how you download it. You're going to want it to be a PNG file. You hit download. It always does this little thing because they want you to pay for their service. And I just ignore it and say, nope, continue editing. And here you see down here in the corner, it did download to where I have things saved, so I'm good. And that'll go away. Okay, so that's done. When you go back out to home, I don't want you to panic, because when you first go back to your home page, it's not, when you click on your designs, it's not going to show up right away. Sometimes. This one did, so we're good. Sometimes it doesn't, and all you have to do is refresh your page, and then it'll show up. But I did that one time. I'm like, I just spent an hour on that. Oh my gosh, it's not there. And then I refreshed and it was there. And I'm like, okay, no reason for panic. All right, so I was asking Canva, I actually contacted them, because one of the things I want to do is be able to save these, share these with my team so they can use them and not have to reinvent the wheel. And so there's a way to do that, but it is, I think it's one of those things, like depending on which version of something you're looking at, there's different ways that it's working and not working for people. And no matter what I tried to do, it would change my original when they were playing with it for themselves. I actually had Mary, I think is still on here, but Mary was on with me and we were playing back and forth, and it kept, whatever she did changed mine. And I don't want to do that because I spent the time building it. I have no problem with y'all using it and sharing it, but I don't want you guys to do it and then be like changing what I did, because then mine's no longer any good. So I asked somebody else what they do, and they do this copy. So if this is something that, like, if you want to do that fundraiser, and I forget who just asked me about that. Is she still on? Who's asking me about that fundraiser? I think she got off. Okay. Anyway, the lady who was just asking about the school fundraiser.
Nope, I'm here, Kathy.
Kathy, sorry, I couldn't see you. Okay, so Kathy, let's say for an example, I wanted to share this with you and give you a copy, let you use it. What I would do is make a copy for you.
Mhm.
So I'd make a copy, and it just says ignore the fact that it says copy of, copy of, copy of. But then I would go to share that with you, and I would make sure that I shared the copy. Okay, so I would go ahead and open it up. This particular one, this is the copy, so I'm making sure I'm on the copy. Again, make sure at the top, once it loads, it says copy of, or whatever you're doing, and then click on share. And then I would have your email address, and I would put that in here, and then I would send it to you, and it would share it with you. Because then when you do on your end is make another copy of it, so you still have the original to look at, and then you're editing that copy, which means you're now 2 generations away from the original, and you can't change the original that way because it's a copy, not my original. Does that make sense?
So I got a question. If let's say I were creating something that I wanted, like maybe my invite that I'm wanting to send my hosts that they can send by social media, and I really want to send those over my phone, is this going to be the easiest way to do it? Just share and send it to myself that way so that I don't have it on my phone?
Actually, you don't even have to do that. Once you have it created on here, Canva is something you can get on your phone. So
okay.
I'm going to show you real quick if it's visible. So this is my phone. Try to get it without the glare. There you go. All those designs are right here on my phone. So then what I can do is I can texting, I obviously can't text from my computer, but I can from my phone. So what you might have to do is, again, get it to refresh to get all the new stuff you just did, so that you can see now that that's got the blue ones that we just did. Forgive the glare. Trying to get it to go away. There you go. That one right there by my finger.
Cool.
So then I can click on that one and then send it through text that way. So, and then what's nice about that too is if you're out with somebody and like, I can't find that again, where's the link to that party? You can send that to them as well. So now what I do with mine, I do the original invite as well. And then I also do a reminder, especially for virtual events. Well, actually do it for everybody. There's no especially. Everybody needs a reminder, right? The party's about to close type of thing. So let me find.
Yeah, just show us some of your stuff. This gives us some ideas.
That's for party. Where's the reminder? I've been playing on here a lot lately. There we go. So that one, I won't open it all the way up because we don't have to edit it, but that's Janet's party closes on 7/19. Follow the link below to place your order. So she can then send that around to all her friends who haven't responded or haven't ordered yet too. And it's just a real simple, easy pop-up thing to look for. And I think that helps people, I'm hoping, to see it in their message box too, even on their phone, because it's a picture versus skimming looking for that link and you can't quite see it because people aren't really focusing in. They're too busy zipping past it.
The only downside is that it's not a hot link where they can't click on it.
Agreed.
They have to type it in.
But what I also do is I also send this, but then I send them the link right below it so they can send that to them as well.
Yeah.
Which is not a hard thing to do. And most of these, I mean, all we do is change the ending. We can type that in our sleep by now.
Yeah.
Most of us anyway. Okay, so this was something I created for the kit rebate and sent that out and just thought it would be fun, and the catchy words down here just to catch their attention, but here's the main focus is the free. And it actually says what words catch your attention to hopefully get people to like interact and make comments. It's a question, answer the question. So that was one we put, you can post on Facebook or whatever. Again, I did the kits. And I just picked on a color that's in the kit picture. So there's the blue on the mat. I did the blue for the background and I took that picture. And so.
That looks nice, Kara.
Thank you.
It does.
And I did that with each of the ones. So then again, there's the green in the cutting mat as well. And I did that and got as close to that as I could. And then of course for the Grand Poobah, I played off the stoneware color and the color of the stools. Enough to make it tie together, but leave the focus on the products.
So you're copy and pasted, excuse me, so you copied and pasted this to go on the Facebook then?
So then I would download it to where it's saved on my computer, and then I would pull it up in Facebook. So let's just do it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So if I wanted to post that picture again about the kits and the free rebates, I would just click on photo video, and then I have all of my stuff saved either in download or in specific folders. And I do actually have one folder that's called recruiting, and it's actually in that. And I would just grab it then and put it in there.
Okay. Thank you.
I can't stand when Facebook or Microsoft Office or anybody does the upgrade and rearranges all your stuff. So it's in here somewhere. There's the mascot. I found that. So yeah, so there's a folder in here that says recruiting. Sorry, I spin fast. Y'all are probably nauseous. Maybe it's in here. It's not. Anyway, and there's a folder that's just the recruiting stuff. So all the current specials that we have right now is in there. And so then I just grab it and put it in there. So for example, if that was just what I was looking for, you click your picture, you grab it, and you put it in there, and you're good to go. Whether it's the Canva picture or whatever, it all goes that way.
Okay.
So yeah, easy. And uploading the pictures into Canva is really fast and really easy. And you can even find like this clock face that I found for this thing for tonight was actually just something I found. I just Googled, I don't know if you guys do this, but Googling images, I just click on a new tab and Google is the automatic default for my computer. So I just typed in clock and that's what it pulled up one time. And I looked at the images and I grabbed it and just saved it and put it in here and it was perfect. So
I've got more computer viruses by Googling images. So I always just do those on my phone.
Oh, gotcha.
And then back to myself.
Yeah, I've never had any problems with that. I have Avast as a virus protector, and it's knock on my desk is wood, knock on everything wood. We're good. All right. So anybody else? What else can I show you to create, or any other questions you might have?
Well, I'm confused. I know we go to Canva to do this, but then you have an account in Canva,
No,
or
ma'am.
you're downloading all of that back to
myself, to my computer.
And so when it says designs or whatever, that's actually a folder in your computer.
This right here, all your designs is on Canva itself. This is all inside their program. So these designs are visible anytime you get on to Canva with your login and password. There's a login and password, but it's not a paid account. It's a freebie.
Okay, so
you do set up an account.
Come up under your login. That's what I was trying to get.
Yeah,
okay.
Correct. Sorry, I should have said that from the beginning. Yes. You create a username and password. It's a free account. It's all web-based. And so everything is kept on their server, which is nice because you're not clunking up your computer with all this.
Okay, that's what I needed.
I have done a bunch of pictures for other people as well. So there's just a ton of these. These are all ones I've done. So you create your account. When you click on your designs, it's everything you've ever done. And if you are going to start sharing this, you're going to have your shared and then your version as well. So every once in a while, you're going to have to go in and clean out your shareds. And when cleaning out these things, like that one is old. That was an April party. If I want to get rid of that, you just move it to the trash. You're done. So it's easy to do. And your trash can is actually on here. You can go retrieve them as well within a certain amount of time frame. I don't know what their time frame is, but if you just accidentally did the wrong one, you can go pull it back real quick. So I like that versus gone and done and gone. So yeah, and then like I said, it's web-based. So if you get on your tablet, you get on your laptop, you get on your phone, you're on your computer, you can always pull this account up and it pulls those up as well. And then you can use them through different ways. So that's why I was showing you guys my phone, because then I can sit there and text that. Because from your computer, you can't get to someone's texting, but you can get to their PMs, their email, their whatever. And then you can do your phone, you can do other things. So.
Kara, how did you do Chantel with the corn?
She had that picture somewhere else, and she sent that to me. So this was, I don't know if you guys saw this. It went around on Facebook for a while. I think it was on Director Success if you're a director. If not, it kind of went all over the place. It was a red background, and it was a lady by a car, I believe, and she had the same words on here. And you would have to cover her picture because it was not the original. And so instead of doing that, that makes pictures big, like your file size bigger when you've got picture over picture. When you're trying to cover somebody else's stuff. So I wanted to just recreate it so that was not the case. This is one of my new consultants and her husband. They went to Branson and stood behind one of these goofy things and did that. So I put her picture in here for her. This is that same Pampered Chef logo, y'all, and I just found a fun thing to put on the background of it to make it pretty.
Very pretty.
So yeah, that's her.
So the photo is actually a photo. It is not that you found corn and put a face over it.
Correct. That's actually her and her husband at some like
corny place.
Yeah, it was in Branson, and they had some fall festival, and they took their picture like that. She's actually a pumpkin, and he's a acorn. Yep. All right. Anything else, y'all? All right. Well, you guys have my info because you actually found me to get on this. So feel free as you get on and start to play with this to ask me questions. I will tell you, the more that you get on and use it and create something, the better off you're going to be, because it's one of those things where at first it's a little clunky and then you start getting good at it because you've done it a lot, and you can go from there. And they've got a ton of pictures you can use. And of course, we have a ton of pictures in marketing imagery. What's nice about this is Facebook and Facebook Jail and all the happy horse stuff that went along with that was because everybody was using everybody else's stuff. With this, even if you share it with somebody, if I shared those books with Kathy, she could change the background, she could change the picture, she could change the font, and so, or even some of the wording itself, and it would not come across as being the same because it also has a different title and a different name of the file that's being pulled into Facebook, so it's not going to look the same. So getting into this and creating some of your own stuff, especially with our products, is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a nice way to help us stay out of that. The other thing that I really like about this is, just for an example, when we had the stuff that went on sale in July, I popped these in here, and that's a fun way to show all three of those. It explains everything. It shows that it's July only because that shows on those pictures, and it's something that nobody else has. So even if I share this with somebody, you could then change the pictures, rearrange them, change the wording, the font, and then you save it as your own file name, and it's not going to ping through their stuff. Now, keep in mind, this does say for sale, so it needs to be on a business page, not on your main timeline, because that will get you hung into jail. That puts you right there. But there's ways to use this on a business page that will keep you out of jail, and it's your own, and it's an original. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I need to do a business page.
Yeah, you do need a business page. There's more coming. Facebook is making more rules. I sat on a webinar with them a couple weeks ago, and they talked about how they want us on business pages. And you guys, if you think about it, I was the first one to hesitate because I didn't want to have something else to keep track of. But when I found out you could put a Shop Now button on there, and they can actually go to your page if they see something you like and click on Shop Now and go straight to your site and shop, y'all, we're being crazy not to be using it because they don't.
Does it tell you how to do that?
It does. It walks you right through it.
Okay.
And so we're crazy not to sit there and give them a shop with me, please, now button. No, wait, message me and see if I get back to you and send you the link, and then you have to try to type the link in again. No, shop now. We're good to go. That's the nature of the game. That's what we want. So, yeah, it's right there. All right. Any other questions, y'all? You've been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I learned a lot.
It's starting to make sense finally. Yay.
Do what, April?
It's finally starting to make sense.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Sure, you're welcome. And as I said, if you guys, when you start to go in and you start to play with this, if you have questions, call me. But I would definitely get on and make something, even if it's an invite or something simple, or play with a new product. This one here was one of their pictures. I just thought it was fun. And so I just grabbed that. It looks like our charcuterie boards that we're talking about all the time. And I just put the wording over it, and there you go.
Oh.
So just pick something simple like that and do it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I will get this recording to load up, and then I will post it out there for you guys. I'll post it in all the different places we were in. I've got a bunch of chat questions on here. Let me check these real quick before we get off. Carla, Lotta, were you the first question on here?
Yeah, but you answered everything.
Okay. That's because Mary and April answered my questions for me. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Debbie, it is recorded. We're recording right now. I'm about to shut that off, and then I will load it up and I will paste it out there so y'all can watch it again. Share it with your teams if you want to. I'm fine with that. The more we get this out there, the more people get help with it, and then we just keep rolling. That's how this works. That's the nature of the Pampered Chef world, right?
Yep.
All right.